Hey guys, welcome back to Flash Tutorials with Alan Becker. I got a request to do scorch marks, meaning like the stuff that happens after the explosion, like the charred edges of stuff. So an example would be like in my Animator vs. Animation 3, the charred edges of these cards, how to make them look destroyed and blackened, and in the beginning where the stick figure destroys the top part of the Internet Explorer, and there's char marks. I imagine that people want to learn how to do this so that they can add char marks to their explosions. This is really pretty simple, this is going to be a pretty quick tutorial. I have a feeling it might go long, who knows, I tend to do that. But let's run through this. So let's see. So you take your pencil tool, and first you want to make the char shape, and then you can add it to stuff. You just take your pencil tool and then you just make a gross looking star shape like that. Yeah, and I mean you want to make it kind of like variable variable lengths. You don't want to make it like a perfect star. That just looks wrong. Yeah, something like that. So a good char has multiple layers in it. So first let's take this shape and fill it with a gradient. So we want the gradient to be slightly transparent. So let's take the linear gradient and then fill it. And okay, actually I meant radial, obviously. And then we take this, move it down to black, and then we decrease the alpha of the end, or the outside, to 0. So it looks like that. And then we want to probably decrease the center to maybe like 70. So it's like that. And then we want to move the center to the center. Something like that. I think we could probably move this out like that, and maybe a little in. Okay, and then if we take away the outside edges, it looks like a char mark, or whatever. So we want to do the same thing for this one. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but turn off lock fill. If you take the eyedropper tool, pick it, turn off lock fill, and then paste it, then you should get that, and then move that to the edge. Okay, so double click the outside and shrink it. So I'm going to click Q, shrink it down, and we want to put it on top, but we want to make sure it's on a different layer. So make a new layer and then put it on top. Oops. I want to cut it from this layer and paste it in place. Control Shift V, and then put it on top. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's good. So I think I want to rotate it and probably decrease the opacity so that it's not as harsh of a difference between this one and this one. I'll decrease it down to that. Yeah, and probably raise this inner circle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we have our char mark. You can make little tweaks if you want to it. And then what you do is you make it into a symbol. Let's see, I'm going to copy these frames because we want to preserve the layers. So we copy these frames, insert new symbol, let's call it char, and then put it in here, and then right click here, paste frames. So now we have our char mark. Okay, so we can get rid of this because we have it in our library, char. And I mean, then you can just add it to stuff. Let's say we have an explosion and it explodes, and you want it to leave behind a char mark. So on the layer below, you would take this. So you want to drop down the opacity down to 0 by clicking on it, going down to color effect, alpha, change it to 0, and then when it gets big enough, then you make a new keyframe with F6, and then bring, oh god, how do I click on it? Bring the alpha back to 100. So then you create a classic tween in between those keyframes, and then look at that, you made a char thingy. That is tight. Alright, so okay, so what if we want to make a building or something have a char on it and have part of it come off, like this card in animator versus animation. So what you do is you take the thing that you want to subtract from, like this building that I have here, this ugly building that I just made a minute ago, and you turn it into its own another symbol. So let's convert it to a symbol, call it building underscore char, and go into it. So now we have the symbol inside, and we make a new layer, and then we copy it. We copy the building and put it on the above layer. So we press Control C, go above, Control Shift V, and now it's in the same place. So we have two copies, right? So now what we want to do is break this one apart. That will turn it back into an editable shape. So what we do now is take the pencil tool, and then we make a char outline. And then we make sure that everything inside of this outline is the same color. So we go to the eyedropper, click this color, and then just fill in everything here. And then we take the shape that we just created. Oh man, forgot about this and this and this and this. Okay, we take the shape that we just created, and then we turn it into a radial gradient and do the same thing we did before, which is the char thing. So we move the center to the center of the char thing and move it there. So now we don't need the rest of this stuff, so we get rid of it. Let's see, how do we do that? Let's just select this, or select all, and then hold down Shift, and then select just the char. So we're going to get rid of everything except this shape, and then hit delete. Oh, we didn't want to select the bottom layer, so lock that one, and then delete. There we go. So now we have this. Okay, so now you want to subtract parts of it. So to do that, we're going to have to take the bottom layer, so we hide this one, and take the bottom layer and break that one apart too. So now we're going to take the eraser tool, which you can press E for, and go back to both layers and then just subtract like that. And if you want to make it more jagged, then make the brush size smaller and delete the rest on both layers. There you go. So now we have our building char. So if we have our building char, and we also have our original building, then we can make it seem like it became charred instantly. So we have the building char on this keyframe, and then we go to this keyframe and put the building there, and it's going to move, so we're going to have to try to match it up. There. So we put an explosion on top. Make it start like right here. and then move it up here. Yeah. Okay, so it looks pretty drastic. Actually, in this animation, it was pretty drastic. Oh god. Yeah, it just appears. See? But if you want, you can make it gradually appear. So let's put this on its own layer, put this down here, and then put this here, and then just make it fade in. So we put another keyframe here, move to the first keyframe, and then click on the object, go to color effect, alpha 0, give it a classic tween, and then it'll gradually be there. And then you, if you want, you can get rid of the original one by making an empty keyframe by pressing F7. So that's how you do it. And another way to do it, if you don't want to redraw this whole char thing, is you could do what I did here, which is kind of tricky. You take the object and then you use the object as a mask, and if we get rid of the lock on these masks, you see that there's a char graphic, actually two of them, and this object. So the one on top is the object that you want to apply the mask or the char to, and then the underneath object would be the char, and then you would right click it and hit mask. And then when you do that, what you would only see is this. So what you have to do is duplicate that shape and then put it underneath in the exact same spot. So I can do that really quick. If we have our building and we make it into a new symbol, building underscore char2, and go into it. What we do is duplicate this, and so how about we just copy frames, make a new layer, paste frames, and so make a new layer, put it underneath or in between, and then put the char graphic right here. Okay, so now we just right click the top layer, hit mask, and now we have our own char. And of course in this case you can't really subtract pieces from it. Actually you can if you just edit this one by breaking it apart and then erasing stuff. And then doing them, then locking them again. Then of course you would have to do it to the bottom layer too. So it's just about as much work, but you don't have to redraw the char yourself. So I'll probably have to erase that and then break this one apart, and then use the eraser tool and then do that again. So then when we lock it, it looks like that. So there's more than one way to do it. That's about all I have for how to make chars and burnt edges. So if you have any more questions, keep contacting me through my website, alanbecker.net/contact-me. Alright, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.